Good morning, Chevra. Today is the 25th of Tammuz, and we are shifting to the higher level of Tshuva. We began yesterday. Today, we begin a new Perek, chapter 9, Perek Tes. The Alter Rebbe explained at the conclusion of the previous chapter that through Tshuva Ilah, the higher level of Tshuva, the Neshama becomes unified, totally cleansed and purified, and it becomes one once again with Hashem, just as it was before it came into the earthly body. Furthermore, the Alter Rebbe quotes the Zohar to the effect that Tshuva Ilah involves Torah study with awe and with love of Hashem. That was a big chiddush. How do you reach the high level of Tshuva? Through learning Torah with Ava and Yira. In the fourth chapter, however, he explained that Tshuva Ilah involves reinstating the higher letter of Hey to the Yud Ke Vav Ke. The lower level of Tshuva was Tashuv Hey, returning the lower Hey. But now, how do we return the higher Hey, and what does that have to do with learning Torah out of love and fear of Hashem? It's explained in the Zohar in many places. The Bina, the level of Bina, Ihi Teshuvah Ilah, this is the higher level of Tshuva. The mother crouches over the chicks, meaning Bina is the mother of her offspring, which is Ahva and Ira, love and fear of Hashem. A person should meditate with deep concentration on the greatness of Hashem. Hopefully we do that during davening. And other times as well, of course. And through his comprehension, and everyone has a different level they can reach, obviously, but through his comprehension, arouse a sense of intellectual awe and love of Hashem. And he does this what? B'tuv tam v'das, on rational grounds. The fact that Hashem takes care of us, the fact that Hashem gives us food to eat and our beautiful family, and the beautiful weather outside and our roof over our head, right? And the air to breathe. That's the rational level. Kinyan shenemar. La'avo es Hashem olekecha mishum ki hu chayecha. Love Hashem, the pasuk says, because He's your life. The love based on reason. He gives us everything. Loi dai loi ba'ahava tivis amisuteres lavad. But a person will not be content with its endowed latent love alone. This is concealed. Every single Jew has that ability to love Hashem on a basic level. But that love needs to be revealed. Such a person creates, instead of a love of Hashem, through his own intellectual endeavor, also with fear and terror of Hashem, or shame. I'm not worthy of all these blessings. I'm not, I know what I did. I know what I thought. I know what I said. From this deeper form of awe in which one feels shame in Hashem's presence. And we also fear rebelling against Hashem by doing an Aveda, by sinning. So in one spiritual, listen, if a person doesn't have shame and doesn't care, he'll flick the lights, which he doesn't care. But many God-fearing, that's what it means, God-fearing Jews, you're fearful that you don't want to disappoint Hashem. This is termed, when one's spiritual emotions of love and fear are born in the mind, then this term, the mother crouching over that chick's Bina, has given birth and hovers over her offspring. That's the love and the fear of Hashem. Now, v'hinei ikravahi istapkus rucha berucha. Ahava. The love of Hashem is primarily the cleaving of spirit to spirit. Kimai shekaso, yishakeni, v'nishikais, pihu v'gaimer kenaida. The pasuk says in Shir Hashirim, He kisses me with the kisses of His mouth. Nemar v'chol nafshecha. With regard to this cleaving of spirit to spirit, this pasuk says, you shall love Hashem with all of your soul. Remember the pasuk in Shema, it's v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha, with all your heart and with all your soul. Shehem I want to give Jeremy Seftel a shout out on our softball team. He says the soul of the order is coming up. Because every team has the heart of the order. It's like number 2, 3, 4, the guys who are the big hitters. And he goes, that's the heart of the order. Soon the soul of the order is coming up. We have the Chol Avavcha, Chol Nafshecha. I thought that was cute. Jeremy Seftel, the best. Shehem Heim Kol Chelkei HaNefesh. Seichel Amidas Levushehem. Machshava Dibur Maisel Dafka Kulon Boy Yisparich. So with regard to cleaving to Hashem, which means that the love is so intense that all aspects of the neshama, intellect and emotion, and their garbs of thought, speech, and action are to cleave to Hashem. This means that man's emotive faculties are to be bound up with Hashem's. As Hashem is merciful, so should you be merciful. So the way Hashem is kind, we have to be kind. Thus, when a person acts kindly, out of the attribute of compassion, for example, this emotive faculty of a person's, is bound up with Hashem's. And so too man's intellect adheres to God's intellect and wisdom. And what is this? This refers to the concentration during the study of Torah. The Torah issues forth from wisdom. So too man's thought to be united with God's thought. If that's even possible, v'hadibur b'dvar Hashem zu halacha, and his speech to be unified with the words of Hashem, which is halacha. And as the Torah, the passage says, I've placed my words in your mouth. And the words which I place in your mouth. What does this mean? So when we speak, that's words of halacha. When we think, we connect to Hashem. When we're merciful because God's merciful. And then when we do an action, that is when we give tzedakah. Man's deeds likewise could be united with Hashem's deeds, just like Hashem gives us everything, so we give to others. So when we act, it unites a person with Hashem as well. Hashem too provides life and revives the spirit of created beings. For 6 days Hashem worked, he did. And then, at the end of the pasuk, and the 7th day he rested. So 6 days we have to work. So obviously we work, but we have to also look to help others. So the expression used concerning Hashem's activity during the 6 days of creation is a verb expressing action and doing. Indicates that Hashem's powers had to descend even to the lowest level of mere action in order to create and vitalize the physical beings of creation. Zoi, he, istabkus, derucha, berucha, betachlis, advekus, vehayichud, kishehimach masava. So this is the cleaving of spirit to spirit, the ultimate attachment and union that results from love. That whatever we're thinking, we're connecting to Hashem's thinking. Whatever we're doing, we're connecting to Hashem's doing. Whatever we're speaking, we're connecting to Hashem. So that's the ultimate union through Torah study. That's when the result is love. So while it's true that when one studies the Torah simply out of Kabbalah's oil, accepting Hashem, not necessarily love yet, he also achieves a measure of cleaving to Hashem. But this doesn't compare to the degree of attachment that's attained when the same Torah study is motivated by love. So since Tshuvah law, the higher level of Tshuva, is the manifestation of the neshama's ultimate attachment to Hashem, the reunification of the soul to its essence, it follows that Tshuvah law means engaging in the study of Torah and on in love of Hashem. As the Zohar teaches, Ulefi, Shepegam, Habris, Baitzah, Zeralavatala. Since the violation of the covenant through wasteful omission, Ve'ein Sarech Leimar, Barois, Ashar Isure Bia, Dairaisa Oiderabanon, to say nothing of incestuous relations or other unions prohibited by the Torah of the sages. For the words, meaning the prohibitions of the sages, are even more grave than the words of the Torah prohibitions. Causes a blemish in the mind. Therefore, his rectification is secured by engaging in the study of Torah, which derives from wisdom. So when we verbally say something wrong, we got to fix that. When we do something wrong, we got to fix that. And when we even think something wrong, we got to rectify that. As stated in chapter 4, that only tshuva, engaging in the study of Torah in awe and the love of Hashem, is effective in remedying this particular sin, or these sins. I know it's a little bit long today, almost done. We find in Tanya Develio, a man who commits a sin and is liable to death before Hashem for the above mentioned sins that we just mentioned. What shall he do and how shall he live? Im hayaragil ikrais daf echad yikrav beis dafim. Lishnes perek echad yishna beis parakim. So if a person was learning one page every day of the Torah, so let him study two. If he was accustomed to studying one chapter of Torah Shabbat Peh, of oral law, let him study two chapters. So he's basically just increasing your Torah study if you're already doing it, but you had these evil thoughts that pass through your mind. Thoughts that, we're not talking about thoughts that you can't control, that you see something, you think about it for a moment, you push it away. We're talking about sitting and delving into these thoughts and creating a vessel for sin in your mind. Is that the best way to put it? So why is the sin punishable by death, including the sin of wasteful omission, rectifiable by an increase in Torah study? Why? This resembles a rope that's severed and then reknotted. We spoke about this a week ago, that this resembles a rope that is severed and then reknotted. The side of the knot is twofold and fourfold thicker than the rest of the rope. So even though it was severed once you reknot it, now that part that's reattached is much thicker and stronger than it was before. If you do the right knot, if you know how to knot it, right? Now it's even stronger. It's not going to be compromised the way it was previously, where it could be cut down. And so it is with the rope of Hashem's heritage, with the soul's bond with its source. Remember we said Yaakov Chevel Nachlosei? I don't know if it says it here, but also if you think about it, the two ends of the rope are now closer than they were before. I think that's a very interesting addition and pshat here, right? So if the relationship was severed by an Aveda, then Tshuva must reknot the cord, retie the cord doubly and fourfold. And this is accomplished through the study of Torah. The pasuk says, through kindness and truth, sin is forgiven. So if you want to do tshuva for a big avera, you got to do it sincerely and honestly and truthfully. And there's no better truth. Well, it's not even no better. There's no real truth other than Torah. Torah semes. And thus it's through study of Torah that sin is forgiven. Not only is it forgiven, but the kesher, the knot, and the connection. You see, it's interesting because kesher means connection, but it also means a knot. The connection that we had before now becomes even stronger. Bovim beis Eli bezevach umincha hu de'ena miskaper. Avo miskaper b'Torah or gemilas chasadim. Similarly, on the statement in the pasuk, the sin of the house of Eli will not be atoned by sacrifices and offerings. The Talmud comments, by sacrifices and offerings will the sin of the house of Eli not be atoned. It will be atoned through the study of Torah and through good deeds, as explained at the end of the first chapter of Rosh Hashanah, Kiddush V'Sei Perekama, the Rosh Hashanah. So the takeaway, Chavra, is a practical implementation of tshuva is just like a rope that rips. When tied together, you double knotted to strengthen the previously weakened point. So double your study of Torah, and that will reinforce the tshuva. Again, this is the higher level of tshuva that will not only be reunited with Hashem, but will be stronger and closer and more unified than ever before. Powerful stuff, Chavra. Learn Torah. Have a good day.